On January 4th, 2025, the Illinois Hemp Growers Association hosted a lobby day and held a rally in the rotunda of the Illinois State Capitol. I captured the speeches on camera and will share the footage in this episode of the podcast. Enjoy.
Let's take a round of applause for everyone here showing up today. That is awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. We've got this sound set up. It's very simple, basic sound setup. So anyone who wants to talk can just come and talk. There's not even a switch on the microphone. Just when you're done, just put it down just like this, and we're good. I'm going to keep it short. We're here to fight against HB 4293. We're here to let the legislators know that we have alternative legislation for them that addresses the public safety concerns that keep getting brought up session after session. And me personally, I'm looking forward to watching our plan in action. We've already had some disruption today. We plan to have a morning session, which was taken away from us. So we will have to work extra hard after lunch to make sure that all of our materials are distributed to as many legislators as possible. I still think it's a good thing that we're here early. We will have all of our materials in front of all the representatives as they come into work today, and we can sort of set the tone and start the narrative around this issue. So there's no way that they won't be aware of what we're doing here today, even if they're not here in the building or in the Stratton building behind me. So we plan on staying until the job's done, and I hope all of you do as well. So with that being said, like I said, I don't have a lot more to say, but we do have many members here who are ready to give their 2 minutes, 3 minutes as to why they're here, and any other statements you want to make about HB 4293, you are more than welcome to do so. And I think what we'll start with is we'll have, if they're interested, we'll have each one of our leaders come up. We have 4 team leads. We'll have the team leads come up and say their piece. And then after they're done, we can start passing the mic around to anyone else who wants to say a couple things here at the podium and to this beautiful group of people here. So with that being said, first leader who wants to come up, we have 4 leaders. So there's Cole, there's Natasha, there's Ingrid and Mark. If any of you would like to kick us off. And I'll continue to MC. So after you're done, you can just put it down. I'll come back up and I'll give you all an introduction. So first up, we have Ingrid. Ingrid is, her focus is on hemp building materials. Ingrid is a proud member of the IHGA, and thank you for being the brave one to start first. Ingrid, thank you.
Thank you all for coming out, first of all, and being here on time and early. I'm part of the U.S. Hemp Building Association. He said IHGA. But in case you don't know, we advocate for education in the construction space. When we can grow a plant that can sequester carbon instead of being like a 40% contributor to carbon, that kind of makes a big difference. So I found myself in the job site with a bunch of dudes in Texas and fell in love with the whole idea of it. And if people don't know, they need to. Mic drop.
Thank you, Ingrid. Yes, the building material angle is a big part of why we're here today. All of this superfluous regulation around regulating this plant that is totally legal and not a Schedule 1 substance, it makes our life in the building world much, much more difficult. It makes the scaling production much, much more difficult. And so to cut out that red tape, it makes building and environment benefit from this. It's not just people who enjoy cannabinoid products or produce cannabinoid products. So our next leader is Natasha Neptune, a farmer and great Illinois Hemp Growers member, Natasha. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I'm just grateful that we're all here because this is important. And one of the things I think that distinguishes us is our passion for this plant and what it means, not only for for the industry in itself, but for the medical industry. And so I think that's one thing that we have is our passion, and the fact that we're here says a lot. So I just want to thank everybody. I think it's going to take all of us to do this, and I just want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, Natasha. And yes, it's awesome to see how many people are here for the same reason. So next up, we have Mark Kanicki. This is Mr. CBD Chicago, one of our long-standing sponsors of the Illinois Hemp Growers Association. And Mark is a leader of the blue team. So Mark, everyone welcome Mark.
Thank you everyone for coming today. I really appreciate it. First off, I just want to thank the Berries for putting this all together and being at the forefront of everything that they're doing. This wouldn't be possible without you. And thanks everyone who puts their ticket in the hat to make this work. We got to focus a little bit differently. Thank you. And, we're trying to focus about nutritional hemp, therapeutic CBD, mental wellness for THC. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. And people are not educated enough in these three areas, let alone the people who are regulating us. State cannabis is like bootlegging to me. You can't take credit cards, can't bank, and they're coming after us for being federally legal. When I walked in the door today, I talked to security and I'm like, the entrance is in the exit. And they started laughing. So I'm like, I'm in the right place. Up is down, left is right. We're in the right place, right? And so obviously we just have to take the time to educate people, be patient, and I think they're willing to learn. And the people who have special interests will identify them and expose the situation. So thank you.
Thank you, Mark. All right, our final leader is Cole Preston. He is the host of the Cole Memo, which is a podcast that many of us have been guests on and enjoy listening to regularly. If you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. And with no further ado, here's Cole Preston.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, everybody, for showing up. My girlfriend told me to prepare remarks because I do host a podcast, and I tend to be a little bit long-winded. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Cole Preston. I'm here today as someone who has been a cannabis consumer for over a decade with experience in several state legal cannabis markets. Now, to be clear, I simply consume these products. I have never been, nor do I have any aspirations to be in the business of selling cannabis. I actually take that back. For a brief period of time, I did sell weed when I was in high school. I put the high in high school. What I love most about hemp is that it is how it's given me greater access to the cannabis plant than any state legal marijuana program ever has. Ironically, I'm here today because that access is now under threat, not from prohibitionists, but from people who grow and sell cannabis themselves. If you told me 10 years ago that I'd be standing at the Capitol defending my right to access cannabis against cannabis growers and their lobbyists, I would have asked you what you were smoking and if I could have some. It really is remarkable that we're even here right now. The cannabis industry has set its target on small, medium, and large hemp businesses within the state of Illinois. They want to force people like me to go to one of the small and tightly controlled number of dispensaries. The cannabis industry has referred to hemp as a loophole to sell illegal cannabis. And in case you didn't know, as Chris mentioned, I host a podcast called The Cole Memo. And the name isn't just a play on my first name, it's actually a double entendre. For those unfamiliar, the Cole Memo was a policy memorandum issued in the Obama era in 2013, and it directed the Justice Department to avoid enforcing federal marijuana prohibition in states that had enacted laws legalizing marijuana in some form. Some might call that a loophole, right? As a cannabis consumer, I completely agree with those who say the products we choose to consume should be tested and labeled accurately. As consumers, we want to vote with our dollars legally, but that's only possible when everyone is given a fair chance to be on the ballot. That's the difference between the proposal put forward by Representative Sonia Harper in House Bill 5903 and the proposal that was put forth by Leader Lightford. Make no mistake, this is about fairness, transparency, and consumer choice. It's about creating a system that works for everyone, not just those with deep pockets or the right connections. Proposals like House Bill 5903 give us a chance to solidify the progress that has been made with the 2018 Farm Bill and ensure that the opportunities it opened remain accessible to farmers, small businesses, and consumers alike. Thank you all again for being here today, and let's make sure that we keep what we have. Hemp for victory, everybody. Hemp for victory. I'll pass it back to Chris. Thanks.
Thank you, Cole. Great job. So you've heard from our leaders. I'm sure most of you have stories similar that fall into similar buckets. Maybe you're interested in the environmental side. Maybe you're interested in the consumer access side. So anywhere in between. But I think Cole did a good job of explaining what we're trying to secure here. And we've had this security and stability since 2018. It's been over 6 years. So if you hear people using language like this is an emergency or a crisis, it's been a 6-year-long emergency at this point. So it's that argument falls on its face. And so with our leaders coming up and saying their piece, you've heard good examples of why they're here, why they're here talking to you. So if you have a story that you would like to share, 1 minute, 2 minutes, however long you need, we've got plenty of time here. We can make all the noise we want here. And, let's be loud and proud. So anyone has stories to tell. Now is your time. This is an open mic. And I see some people in the front row here that may want to step up and say something. But we can start anywhere. So Hector, this is Hector Rivera. He is he's on the consumable product side, and
hey everybody.
Hector's been researching the bill as well, so he's got some notes he'd like to share with you, and we'll start from there. Here you go, Hector Rivera, everybody.
Hey everybody. Yeah, I make edibles. I'm an advocate for edibles, and if it goes into food or beverage, it's got to be clean. And one of the main things I don't like about this HB 4293 is we do need regulation, but we need the opportunity to become regulation. So if you take a look at that amendment number 2, it's 94 pages in the PDF, and you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you get down to 8920, section 20C, that beginning January 1st, 2025, last week, the registration process is going to begin. And that door is closing on March 1st, 2025. If this bill passes, the door is already going to be closed to become registered. So you can't even be legal. They're just going to eliminate everybody. If you can't get registered, you're not legal. And March 1st, 2025, that'll be around in the blink of an eye. They're not going to have any processes available to anybody to even register. This 4293, it was all Frankenstein together with red tape and all kinds of garbage, and some stuff was carried over from the CRTA, and it was just piecemeal together, crappy. But a logical approach, the alternative best plan is this HB 5903. Sonia Harper introduced that on November 6th, I believe, and that was logically put together. It's perfect. Absolutely. Prior to that was that it was another bill from LaShawn Ford. It was like 220 pages. It was the best thing going. But up until this 5903, that's the best deal today. So let's get this thing killed. Let's push to the representative and let them know that we won't even have an opportunity to even register if it passes as is. So, yeah, the Speaker of the House Chris Welch, thank you. Yeah, Chris Welch, he's already on board to kind of slow things down on this, but we need to really enforce this and let them all know 5903. There's a choice. There's a choice of bills. There's multiple bills. Pritzker doesn't have to specifically choose this 4293. It'll benefit him and Akrona and his family's involvement in the cannabis industry, but I didn't say that. That'll really benefit his family. But no, 5903 for everybody. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Hector. That line that he pointed out, they've got some dates set in stone on that bill that need to be amended for it to actually be functional. So it was already sort of a convoluted and contradictory mess to begin with, but now it being so late in the session, it's even worse now. So that's a great point, Hector. Thank you very much. And so that was our sixth speaker now. Does anybody else want to come on up and share? Looks like we've got Tyrone over here. He's ready. This is Tyrone, owner of the THC Prohibition Cafe in the city of Chicago, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Welcome, Tyrone, everybody.
That's just making sure we're ready. All right. So we all got a story, right? But this is personal to me. We at war. That's what this is. This is economic warfare against little small businesses, against corporate cannabis. And I'm gonna say it. Y'all don't have to say it. I spent 21 years in prison and watching all the young men and boys coming in prison over the 21 years that was arrested for cannabis. Hear me, cannabis. First of all, the whole purpose for making cannabis legal was to fix the damage that was caused by the war on drugs. I'm not going to even start talking about the Clinton 94 crime bill and Joe Biden. I ain't going to even do it. I ain't going to even make that political. But the bottom line is, black bodies, brown bodies, built the black market that is cannabis. They made $4 billion last year. I could be short on the numbers. $4 billion was made. Our government collected over $700 million in taxes from cannabis. No wonder they're not working for us. It's like I thought that when cannabis was made legal, the young men and boys, then the systemic disinvestment caused by the war on drugs would give them an opportunity. But 90% of all cannabis dispensaries are owned by white men. I mean, white women neither, need not apply. And we sitting here fighting for something that's federally legal, not to be banned by a product or industry that's federally illegal. It's like oxymoronic. Nothing stops the corporate cannabis from selling the same products we sell. And I'm gonna say what you all may not say. Cannabis cannot be legal in Illinois without black elected officials. Furthermore, hemp cannot be banned in no form without black elected officials' help. These people are corporate cannabis prostitutes. I tell them that in their face. If you allow for corporate cannabis to have a monopoly over the hemp industry where we can't even compete with them, that they would use lobbies and lawyers and politicians to violate our right to business, to violate our right to grow, to violate our right to the hemp flower. then we're at war. This is no game right here. It's like when we come out the black market and try to do something legal, hemp gives us that ability to learn about the flower, to operate, to grow, to become professionals. Like this young man and his father, 17 years old, and his father. The government would violate men like this. That should be an outrage even for black politicians. It's like, what do you want us to do? When in our communities, all you have is graveyards and prisons. Graveyards and prisons. And we got people who sit up in these rooms with these corporate cannabis. Me personally, my goal is to destroy corporate cannabis. Because they're not the social equity group this is. Look at the diversity in this room. Social equity looks like this. Well, we can collaborate and do business. We actually do business together. I love it that I can call states and say, how do we white label this state? Like, how do we white label? Exactly. Look at this. Y'all see this? This is what corporate cannabis wants to do. Our elected officials don't allow us. I've learned so much from him in the few weeks I've known you. What Mark? With CBD. That's what I'm saying. If we never get an opportunity to grow together, it's no farm in here that should be banned that we all should have our hands in the soil to fight against them corporate crooks. And that's it. And lastly, the young men and women and boys over on the corners, because everybody seems to be smoking weed, to purchase or to support cannabis dispensaries in their current formulation with the backing of elected officials, lobby politicians, and everything in between is to support racism, discrimination, and violence. You should be at the hemp farms, hemp stop. So with that being said, thank y'all for listening, and we gotta fight. We gotta fight.
Thank you, Tyrone, Sam, Weed Man, you guys, THC Cafe, Prohibition Cafe, you guys are amazing. Thank you. We just recently established a collaboration. I'm doing some white labeling for those guys, and came out to the farm, spent some time out on my small little 13-acre farm. We're going to blow up together. That's right. We're going to win this fight today. And you are, I'm going to get teary about it. You are right. This is the path to social equity. Ain't nobody being stopped from starting a hemp stock farms, a weed man, a THC cafe, Prohibition THC cafe. Nobody's stopping you. We do 5 farmers markets a week. You guys might have seen the CAN bus parked out that way. Take a look for the CAN bus out there, hemp stock CAN bus. 5 farmers markets a week. Probably 20, 25 fairs, festivals annually, out talking to people, educating, meeting with people face to face. This is the side of hemp and cannabis that people don't see. They just see the Delta 8 flashing signs, the Kratom signs driving up and down the street. They don't see the educators. I was 20 years educator, 10 years community college business professor before I got into cannabis, before I got into becoming a hemp farmer. Rachel, I blame Rachel. I was a small business development center director, And Rachel and Chris walked in my office and said, in 2018, and said, we want to start some kind of organization advocating for hemp farmers, educating the opportunity that's going to come to the state through the Farm Bill. And wow, that was, praise the Lord, thank you. Thank you for coming into my office. Rach and I then, as SBDC director, Small Business Development Center director, I was charged with developing the economy that was in my region. So that's what Rachel and I started working on. We educated farmers, we did workshops. Quickly, we're doing them around the state. The SBDC even had me do a workshop out in California for all the other SBDC directors of how to work with hemp and hemp farmers. A lot of resistance, a lot of silos within US government. I had to push a lot of envelopes to even get the SBDC offices to consult with hemp farmers. We all know that we've faced just the same kinds of obstacles that big cannabis has faced in getting banking, keeping our credit card processing. We are already onerously regulated because of banking. Now we can get access to it, but we have to constantly produce COAs, we have to follow federal guidelines as far as labeling, no health claims. I mean, there's a lot that we have to do to already comply just to make sure that we have banking and that we can run a business. So to say that we are unregulated, that we're not self-policing, or that we're not running COAs and we're not making sure that we're producing safe products is just a big fat lie. It's just a lie. We are leaders in our communities. And we're going to have a litany of people come up after me that are going to talk about the leadership in their local community, the ag leaders we have, the urban farming leaders that we have, people championing equity up and down, in and out of the state, both out in the country, in the city. I mean, we are the answer, and we are educating people. We're helping them navigate this landscape. People are hungry for this. That's why our businesses are blowing up. They're hungry. Let's keep it. The people want us. They need us, and we need to be here for them, and we have to fight for it. Thank you.
Thank you, shout out, and for helping us start the Illinois Hemp Growers Association. So we're about halfway through now, but we have a special guest. We have Representative Swanson from the Republican side of the House, and he's here to address all of you. Nothing further to say.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey, great seeing all of you, and thank you for coming to your capital to represent the grassroots efforts in our communities. This is important, and I'm glad to see you here. And when legislators walk by, grab their arm and tell them your story, because that's how you make an impact. So a little bit about me. I'm a farmer. We farm, 6th generation farm. My son, nephew are part of the 6th generation. We farm ground that my great-grandfather bought back in the early 1900s. My grandpa back in the 1940s grew hemp on his farm. And I'm a big supporter of hemp. I supported the legislation that went through. My grandpa grew hemp to support the war effort. We had several hemp factories in our community. We still have hemp grown on our fence rows. I mean, it still is prevalent here in Illinois. And why we should not be able to produce that hemp, and why we should not be able to market it, and why we should not be able to grow our farms or grow our businesses has got me baffled. It's a business that needs to be continued to move on. I've got neighbors that grow the hemp, and they row crop it, and they've been successful. I just talked to a businessman, I'm going to share this later with the organization, Talked to a businessman yesterday who's looking at building a plant in my community of Galesburg. He's going to need he's going to need hemp product to make powder for protein beverages. He needs that. And I told him about this legislation. He goes, oh my gosh, that may change my mind where I want to build this $1 million business. Wow. Look at the economic impact, just locally, the jobs that's going to create. Just because somebody has it in their mind that we're not being the good stewards of our products that we grow and market here in Illinois. It baffles me when we pass legislation on a strong bipartisan, strong support from both sides of the party, and now we're going to do away with it. And it's going to affect your livelihoods, it's going to affect the livelihoods of a lot of people here in Illinois. And we're not the bad actors. We're the guys, we're the people growing this, selling it, and doing an honorable business within our communities. And that's what makes Illinois great, is by having the diversity of all here in Illinois. So thank you for coming out. Legislators, we go into session at 3 o'clock. I'm one of those that likes to get here early to see what the scope is like and see what the ground looks like. And I coordinated already to be here to speak to you, but that's all I've got to say. You're the grassroots. You're representing so many people in the state of Illinois by being here today. So make sure your voice is heard. Thank you, God bless, and safe travels. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Swanson. That was excellent and very poignant. Now we have another speaker here ready to go. I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name earlier.
George Blake.
This is George?
Yes.
All right. Everyone welcome George.
Thank you. My name is George Blakemore, and I was invited to come down here by Honorable Tyrone Mohammed, which is a businessman, and he spent over 21 years in prison. So many of our black youth with this war on drugs, their life have been messed up. Now, this word used equity. And I'm always playing the race card. Black people, when they get around white folks, they don't want to play the race card. The white dispensaries are making big money, millions of dollars. Now the blacks are able to open up their hemp business and open up their dispensary. Equity. So they have a head start. Play the race card. Now I'm appalled to hear that some of these black elected officials are trying to police the hemp industry. I can't believe it. So they have black faces in high places selling black people out for money. For money. So it's just like I'm gonna make it legal for me. And I'm gonna make a lot of money for me, but not for you. It's gonna be for me. So now they done got to me, and now what about us black people? So it was a terrible experience that the black community went through. The white people got the medicinal, that means the medical, and then they have the recreation. And now they want to cut us out. There's no equity here. There's no equity here. And I'm quite comfortable being here all painted up. I came here to speak up on the behalf of the black community. This is what I do. Now, if I sound in betrayal, if I'm sound watching somebody else get something and I can't get it, there's something wrong with me. So I expect these black elected officials to step up. So evidently they don't represent us. They must represent somebody else, maybe corporate America or some other agency or some other group that's paying them to play against their people. I was appalled when Tyrone explained that to me, what was going on with our elected officials. Now this man came up to speak. One of our people are silent, but they getting on this bandwagon because they being paid to play. Have you heard out of sellout? You know what a black sellout? I can use the Angie Mama's house or whatever. I have every right to do this. So again, it's very important for Tyrone and his organization, the Black Hemp Association, to speak up, to show up, and to show out and bring the bacon home to us. And thank you, and have a peaceful and blessed day.
Thank you, George. Well said and loud and proud, right? Loud and proud. Our next speaker is DeMarcus Medley, and here he is now.
So excited to be here today. I'm a little nervous. Give me a second for my heart rate to drop. But my name is DeMarcus Medley. I own Greenlaw's Farms with my son, DeMarcus Medley Jr., down in Galesburg, Illinois. We started as an urban farm in 2018, and our initial goal was just to grow produce. We grew using a method called aquaponics, where we raise fish and produce in a closed loop system. And it was quite the challenge in Galesburg when we initially got started. We just wanted to grow food, and then somehow I had to become an advocate because we weren't quite accepted. We were labeled many different things. A lot of people thought we were drug dealers. Some people thought what made us so special to want to grow food in the middle of town. Well, I just want to build a business with my brothers. You know, that was our goal. And when we got the opportunity to do that in 2018, we were excited. And then it was really hard making money in food. I mean, as a farmer, and especially as an urban farmer. So when the 2018 Farm Bill passed and allowed for industrial hemp, that was a game changer for us. And we were one of the first licensees in Knox County. And as I found out today, I was the first black person with a hemp license. Is that true, girl? In Illinois. So that was great. But like many of you, I was plagued by issues, whether it came from theft. One time the police raided my farm while I was out there working. It was a big misunderstanding. So, but from there, our business started to thrive with the passing of the Farm Bill and industrial hemp. We started to grow hemp for CBD, and thanks to the raid on the police farm, I got a lot of the raid on my farm by the police. I got a lot of publicity, so that allowed me. I kind of went viral, became infamous, right? And I found my first commercial buyer. So as we continue to grow, I decided the issues kind of became too much. We kind of kept with a lot of theft and things like that. So we decided we were going to stop. But luckily, the mayor of Galesburg and the city council passed, issued a grant that allows small businesses to receive grant money and also urban farms. So me and my son decided to give it another go. And we got everything ordered. We bought our equipment, and then we applied for our hemp license, and we were denied for the first time ever. So I was like, yo, what's the issue, And it was like, well, your tax code isn't a farm. You aren't a farm. I said, we aren't a farm. We've been growing. We're registered with the FSA. We have a USDA loan. We have a farm track number. We have a crop report. All the things that require you to be a farm. And it's like, well, our tax is the farm. There's nothing we can do. You have to file 2 years of Schedule F on your tax returns to get your farm code changed. And so for the past 2 years, I've been using the grant money to keep us going, and I was hoping, I'm like, finally, 2025, I'm going to get my chance to grow industrial hemp again. And then this bill gets introduced. And what this bill is going to do is going to be the end of us. If this bill is to pass, there's going to be no more Greenlaw's Farms, and everything we work for, I feel like could be for nothing, because it won't allow us to no longer be a viable business. And that's what kind of led me here today. And it also led me to the steps of D.C., where I got to lobby for the Farm Bill last year around the same time, where I got to talk to my representative, Eric Swanson, and other representatives on Capitol Hill to kind of share my story. Because it's a very unique and different story, and I don't have the time to share it all. But what I do want to say is that the bill that they're trying to pass, I know our issue is to protect children. I have children, right? But in my opinion, it's more to protect the craft growers. They don't want the competition. They believe that craft growers were true social equity applicants, when that's not true. Whether that was their goal or not, that's to be determined. But true social equity, like Tyrone said, is here. It's in the hemp industry. The barriers are a lot smaller to overcome to get a hemp license. And for me, and for other people like me, our only chance to really truly get into the cannabis industry is through hemp. There's no way I can afford a craft license. I don't have $4 million to build out a craft facility, but I got a couple dollars to get a hemp license, right? I have land that I can grow on. And so what we're fighting for here today is more than just, for a hemp bill, it's for our livelihood. Me and my son, I had him when I was 17 when I first moved to Galesburg. He's 21 now. We grew up together. But we became closer on our farm. We was out there working in that field every day, spraying, you remember, D, and dealing with things, coming out, hoping no one stole the crop from the night before. It helped us get in better shape. We got a lot healthier. My son was on the verge of being diabetic. We worked that summer, he dropped some pounds, and then he no longer faced that issue. So for us, this either going to be the beginning of something great, the beginning of generational wealth for our family, for me to pass something down to my son, or it's going to be the end. And I'm here to fight, for that last chance. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. Great story, man. Really appreciate that. So we have another speaker up next. Her name is Selena. Everyone, welcome Selena.
Thank you. Okay, hi everybody. It's so nice to see so many people in the hemp industry. It doesn't make you feel quite so alone, does it? So my name is Selena. My husband Alex and I are farmers in Warren County. We're 5th generation and currently raising 3 little ones that we hope become the 6th generation farmers. We have a small to a medium small operation. We raise corn, soybeans, alfalfa, and we also have a cow-calf herd, and our kids do the festival calves at the county fair as well. We also are licensed hemp growers, which is why I'm here, of course, and I am reading this on behalf of HB 4293. We began growing hemp in 2019, the first year of its legalization. It has been a long roller coaster of ups and downs and triumphs and failures. Growing a new crop that has very little agronomic research is always a challenging adventure. The first few years seemed like a 1 step forward, 2 steps back was the norm. Good agronomic decisions would be followed by unwise business decisions or vice versa. However, the past 2 years, we have hit our stride and we have been successfully growing outstanding crops and marketing our products. Marketing and selling of one's hemp crop is by far the most difficult part of the entire process. It has required endless hours of networking and cold calls and dead ends and dishonest buyers and canceled contracts and about anything that you can imagine. We have put our blood, sweat, and tears into growing hemp. It has changed us as people and as farmers. It has opened our eyes to organic and regenerative farming practices that we've now implemented and will continue to implement across all of our farms. HB 4293 will make it almost impossible to sell our hemp crop. The restrictions and regulations will likely force most of the businesses that buy our hemp to close their doors and or to pivot to a new industry. We understand that there are bad actors in the hemp industry just as there are in every industry, but we cannot punish everyone due to the acts of a few. Raising hemp has brought life into our farming operation and has allowed us to continue raising our children on the farm. It has allowed us to stay together, and my husband has not had to choose a night job to continue farming over quitting farming altogether. As you know, modern farming is extremely competitive, where a scale of volume dictates the economics of so many operations. Row crop farming is a capital intensive, and commodity price cycles can put a great strain on a family. It is in my opinion that every crop and every market that can be made available to family farms should be supported. The countryside is more and more empty every generation. Crop markets are like hemp, are a tool in the tool belt to keep rural Illinois alive. These proposed regulations on the hemp industry only helps big cannabis and big business. It is a way to squeeze out small businesses and small farmers. We are not trying to get rich and compete with big cannabis companies. We are just trying to continue to do what the generations before us did: love, respect, and live off of the rich black soil that God created for us and teach our children to do the same. Thank you for your time today. We appreciate the work that all of the representatives do for us. As my husband's a school board member, we understand the thankless time that is spent as public service. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Serena. Very well said. Love and respect. So we have a few more minutes. Would you like to come up and say something? Of course. Yeah, you're good on time.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Hello.
Carolyn, sorry.
Carolyn Vasquez from Think Hempology. I live in the awesome community of Auburn Gresham in Chicago. Anybody from Chicago? Okay. Y'all can say it loud and say it proud. Anytime I say I'm from Auburn Gresham, I go, AG in the house. Everybody like, AG, Auburn Gresham. But I come from Chicago and I represent, as I think somebody was doing the beatbox, Tyrone, the hempologist. I'm the hip-hop hempologist because hemping ain't easy, right? And I speak to the succession planning of it all because Think Hempology is about the next generation of hemp farmers. So I appreciate your story. And it's funny because I looked him up on a random note to look for just a black farmer in Illinois that was in hemp and his name popped up. So I had no idea who he was. Now this is full circle because now I know him, I know your son, and it's a great story. The reason why I wanted to come up is because I wanted to meet other people who were in this industry. And Rachel, who I've known for some time, has done great work, but I kept asking her, who else does this? Like, who else are the people out here? So yes, it is good to see other people doing it. But my concern is, as it relates to these bills, how does this affect the next generation who really doesn't even know about the economic opportunity? And as we say, the word equity involved in what we're doing, and the decisions that we make now can affect their future. So if I were to ask the question, what will my current self say now to the future Carolyn, which is put some fire under your butt and get some things going because I'll appreciate it more later. My daughter is here with me, Bella. She's on the phone, which keeps her engrossed, but she's here and I take her everywhere that I go so she can understand not only what it takes to make things happen, how much work and effort go into it. It's not just me, it's a lot of people involved. So we all have to put our hands together for what we do. But in order to really give that picture in Chicago, people are clouded by misinformation. And this is what I find. If I can be that voice of truth and education in the community, that's what I want to do. So glad to meet you. So glad to meet so many people who are in the community that I didn't know about, because this is a learning process for me. I stand in unity with you all. I want to educate the next generation. I shouldn't say I want to, I am educating the next generation, working within the Chicago public schools to bring farming back, make it sexy again, right? So using things like the hip-hop hempologist gets the kids involved, using hip-hop relationships to show this is cool. It's not just something that we smoke. It's something that you can grow, you can build from. There are so many different aspects of hemp that I want to share with the next generation. So as we do this, let's think about that. Obviously, working with Rep. Harper, I do appreciate a lot of stuff that's going on, but for that doesn't make sense, I'm the disruptor. I like to think I'm the disruptor. So I show up in the meetings and I will say what people won't say or don't know. And I stand on it. After I say it, I learn from people in the industry. I talk to Rachel a lot and she may give me guidance, but I consider myself to be that disruptor. So when they're a little too comfortable on certain agendas, I oftentimes will stand up and say, but wait a minute, did y'all think about industrial hemp? Did you think about how that affects the hemp industry? So before we start making decisions that can affect, in a negative sense, my daughter and many young people who look at this as an economic opportunity, it's all about what are they going to do with themselves. If we make it hard for them to come out the gate on something that's so easy, they will never look at it the same. So I am here to say, yes, hemping ain't easy, and let's all stay on that hip hop path there. All right? Thank you.
Carolyn Vasquez, everybody. Yeah, she touched on a really good point, I think, and that 4293 is very short-sighted. It definitely, we're not thinking next generation. We're not even thinking next year. So if we have a little bit more time here. So we have Amanda Montgomery over here. She's ready to speak. She's the owner of the AM/PM Hemp Farm, and she's been in the hemp industry for a long time, has great experience, and we have a long relationship with her with the Hemp Growers Association. So welcome, Amanda Montgomery.
I'm going to keep this short, and I really don't want to cry. But I'm here to fight because this is my freaking life. I beat cancer 2 years ago. My husband committed suicide last year. I'm here for the long haul, and hemp is my way of survival and my way to help other people. I am so grateful to see everyone here today, and I'm going to pass the mic.
Thank you, Amanda. All right, so we're coming to the end of our time. We have another speaker here. It's Kaylee, right? Kaylee. I'm sorry. This is Kaylee with Saleed's Cannabis Creations, right?
Yep. Kaylee, yep.
And here you go.
Okay. Hi. So, I'm Kaylee Jump, owner of Kaylee's Cannabis Considerations. Cannabis because that's the scientific name, and I'm a nerd. So I'm a small hemp farmer in Adair, Illinois, outside of Macomb. And we're technically first generation farmers, even though my husband had a background helping his whole life. We got into hemp farming because I was a medical cannabis patient for 10 years and supplemented all of my CBD out of state. So when CBD came available in the state, I knew I wanted to participate with that. And with my connections and knowing how things have went in other states, new CBD and the non-intoxicating products would be hard to access. I wanted to be able to being a hemp farmer, we had the space. We have 2 1/4 acres. So my tiny half-acre hemp plot could be used to help provide quality, eco-friendly, because I can't say the O word because I don't pay for that, products to my local community that, have helped me so much. And we also help with hemp research and education in our local community and with our local colleges. And so the hemp farm provided a way to provide for our family, give stuff to our local community that went outside of me being an ambulatory wheelchair user and my husband being a disabled veteran. So a lot of job options aren't available to us, but hemp farming gives us the ability to work around our limitations and do that. And this HB 4293 not only takes away from small producers, small hemp farmers, like all of us, we're looking at just for the small amount of products that we have, we're looking at spending over $20,000 to have all of that retested, registered with the state, the new licensing fees, which, by the way, not only do you have not have enough time to register for the new production license, the way it's written, it takes direct sales from the farmer to the consumer of flower away, because in order to sell it, it's a consumable product. Flower is a consumable product, so you have to have a processing license. I have customers in my area that will never set foot in a dispensary. They're in the Amish community. They will never go to a dispensary. They will never go to a smoke shop. They come to me because they know me from the local community, from the farmers market, and have built a rapport over the last few years and trusted me enough. And those are the types of people that are going to lose access. And so many farmers, so many businesses are going to be shut down because there's no way they can pay those after on top of everything they already paid to get into business. That's really all I have to say.
Thank you, Kaylee. All right, so next speaker I have to introduce is Mr.
Thank you very much. Okay, you guys. I just want to put everybody in the right frame of mind that's in this corridor today. Everybody in here is a federally legal entity. You're not a criminal. You're not breaking any laws. You are federally legal. And we are in the hallways of our lawmakers in our capital, and we are begging them to not harm a federally legal entity that they are now helping a federally illegal entity take over what the federal government said, okay, you guys are federally illegally opening up cannabis dispensaries. We're going to give the people of the country a chance to be able to feed their families, help their loved ones through all types of situations. And all these people in this building can think of is an intoxicating product. Well, they need to go to Walgreens, and they need to go to CVS, and then we need to be fighting the war on those intoxicating products, not a product that people have gravitated to. And since the dispensaries see their bottom lines is dropping because people in the communities are now going towards hemp because they found out that hemp is the real medical marijuana of the world that they thought was a piece of crap. And they found out that, oh my God, these people are coming into our dispensaries and asking for Delta 8. They're asking for CBD. And so now the dispensaries want to sell it and we can't sell it? Well, why don't the dispensaries go and get that codeine with Tylenol codeine and sell that out of the dispensaries because it's intoxicating too. So I want to say this to these lawmakers, and I hope that somebody can get this to them. While you all are sitting here protecting a federally illegal entity, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Thank you, Everett. Very well said. Our next speaker is Mr. Caleb Howard. He's one of the founders of the Illinois Black Hemp Association.
Hi, nice to meet you all. My name is Caleb Howard, and I'm the executive director of the Illinois Black Hemp Association. And we, first of all, want to thank Tyrone, I want to thank Sydney, and I also want to thank Sam for supporting us. And I'm looking forward to the future and collaborating with you all. So.
Excellent work, gentlemen. Thank you so much. All right, we're coming to the end of our time to use the amplified sound system. So if anybody else has any last remarks, now's the time. Otherwise, you'll just have to shout for the rest of the day, which I hope you do. Because after we're done with this event right now, I'm going to go get lunch. We're going to eat lunch, and then we're going to hit it hard. We're going to go to the Stratton building. We're going to hit every office in this building. We're going to make sure every representative in the House gets all of the materials that we prepared today. Everyone here, nope, I don't think we lost anybody. We came in here at 8:30 in the morning, and we've been here for 4 hours waiting for this time. So we will go and hit every single one of them. 119 representatives. Thank you all for being here. I think that's it. We'll leave it at that. Thank you.